Hello YouTube, hello friends. If you write music, if you arrange music, or if you plan to do so, this video is for you. In this video I'm sharing my top 10 tips on how to write well-readable sheet music for drumset. So stick around, have fun, and I hope you learn something. My first tip, you need to use the right key. This key is specific for unpitched percussion, which means that there is no pitch attached to any of the 5 lines. My second tip, never use more than 2 voices. I sometimes see that arrangers and composers use 3 voices for drum set. Writing with 3 voices might make musical sense to you, but for the drummer it's gonna be a huge pain and pretty much impossible to read. The breaks get in the way and you quickly lose the overview over what's actually written. Always stick to 1 or 2 voices. If you're writing with 2 voices, usually the snare drum and the bass drum are 1 voice and the other voice on top is the voice for cymbals. If you're using 1 voice only, everything's written together in 1 voice. Some drummers prefer 2 voices, other drummers prefer 1 voice. My third tip. Cymbals are written with X's. That visually separates the cymbals and the medals neatly from the drums. An X on the snare drum usually means a rim click, but do not confuse the rim click with the rim shot. The rim click is usually used for quieter music or for styles like bossa nova or Afro-Cuban music. The rim shot is a much more powerful sound and is usually used for accents or for a prominent backbeat sound, most often in rock or pop music. If this video is helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment so that it can spread to more composers and arrangers. Tip number 4. Do not write out fills note for note. Your drummer will probably not read your fills anyways, and if we're honest, your drummer's fills will probably sound better than yours. Instead of writing out the fill, just write fill. Be aware that depending on where within the groove you write the word fill, your drummer will start on a different beat. So if the F of the word fill is on the count 2 of the groove, the drummer will start the fill on count 2. So be aware of that. If there's a specific signature fill you want the drummer to play, let's say like the fill from Phil Collins's In the Air Tonight, do goo 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 do 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 ga ga. By all means transcribe it and write it down. But if it's not a specific fill you need, just write fill. You'll make the drummer's life easier and the fills will come naturally. Usually you want the drummer to lead the band into a new section only, and you don't need a big fancy fill for that. Tip number 5. When the drummer has a long break, like in this example, give the drummer some orientation points, musical orientation points and cues during the break, so that it helps the drummer to not lose the overview and orientation of the form of the tune. Counting to 40 under pressure when you're playing music, it's almost impossible. Everybody's gonna lose count. Number 6. As a composer, you sometimes only write a lead sheet with the harmony and the melody notated. When you do that, just please include a tempo mark and a style for this music. This is already such a big help for the drummer, and you won't have to just talk about it during the rehearsals. You can actually use the rehearsal time for more musical stuff. Number 7. Each line on the sheet should have the same number of bars. The most common ones are 4, 8, 12 and 16. This makes sight reading and keeping the orientation so much easier and so much more pleasant. Number 8. Lines and hits you want the drummer to play exactly, you can write into the staff. Lines you want the drummer to be aware of and maybe play on the snare drum and bass drum, but keep the time, you can write on top of the staff. Writing the hits on top of the staff tells the drummer that something's going on, what is going on, and that he or she can decide whether to play it with the band or not. Number 9. Notate the basic groove of the part or the piece only and do not write all the variations you want the drummer to play. In a pop, rock, funk or jazz environment, the drummer will not stick to the exact groove that you notated. The drummer will always play variations of that groove according to taste. Notating the variations you can come up with just makes reading the piece unnecessarily complicated. Number 10. Drum notation is not standardized and all drummers will notate their music differently. If you're not sure whether the drummer will know what your notation means, just attach a legend to the sheet music. This clears all possible questions. You can find a PDF file with my top 10 tips on how to write for drums on my website. Please download the file and use it whenever you write for drums. Your drummer will thank you. I hope this video was helpful to you. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, when the music ends, the conversation starts. Bye.